Do our five senses show us everything? Or do they shield us from a reality we're not meant to see? This question haunted a group of scientists in 1983, leading them to conduct an experiment so disturbing. Its records were buried in classified files for decades. The goal was simple, yet terrifying. Discover what lies beyond human perception. The theory was that our senses sight, sound, smell, taste, and touch act as filters. They don't just show us the world. They protect us from its true, unfiltered nature. The scientists wondered, what would happen if those filters were removed? To find out, they recruited 5 brave volunteers for a procedure more extreme than anything attempted before. One by one, their senses would be completely and surgically severed. They would be left fully conscious, but entirely cut off from all external input. No light, no sound, no sensation, just a mind floating in an endless, silent void. The hypothesis was that without these constant sensory distractions, the human mind would finally be free to perceive what truly exists all around us, all the time. The experiment was codenamed Project Gateway, and what it unlocked was not a new dimension of understanding, but a doorway to unimaginable horror. On day 1, the subjects, isolated in their individual sensory deprivation chambers, remained calm. They reported feeling disoriented, as expected, but nothing more. They floated in the blackness, their minds adjusting to the total absence of stimuli. The research team monitored their vitals, noting a steady state. The silence in the observation room was only broken by the soft hum of life support machines. It seemed, at first, that the experiment was proceeding exactly as planned. The subjects were simply experiencing a profound state of isolation. But this calm was just the quiet before a storm that no one could have predicted. The filters were down, and something was beginning to stir in the silence. By day 3, the tone of the experiment shifted dramatically. The subjects, who had been silent, began to communicate with the researchers through their neural interfaces. They didn't speak of boredom or disorientation anymore. Instead, they described presences in the void with them. They insisted, with growing anxiety, that they were not alone in their chambers. Something was there, just beyond the veil of normal perception. The scientists were skeptical, attributing these reports to hallucinations, a common side effect of sensory deprivation. But the descriptions were unsettlingly similar across all 5 subjects, who had no way to communicate with each other. They spoke of faint whispers at the edge of hearing, fleeting shapes in the corners of their non-existent sight. The presences felt cold, ancient, and watchful. The team documented it as shared psychosis, but a seed of unease had been planted. What if it wasn't a hallucination? Day 5 marked a point of no return. The subjects' anxiety erupted into sheer terror. They were no longer just sensing presences. They claimed they could now see them. Not with their eyes, of course, but with something else. Some fundamental faculty of the mind that had been awakened in the sensory void. Their descriptions became frantic and disjointed. They spoke of beings made of impossible geometry, of colors that didn't exist, of a universe teeming with entities that had always been there, hidden in plain sight, obscured only by the noise of our senses. They begged, pleaded, screamed through the neural link to have the experiment stopped. They wanted their senses back. They wanted the noise. They wanted the blindness that had protected them their entire lives. The scientists were now faced with a terrible choice: abort the mission and lose this unprecedented data, or push forward into the terrifying unknown. On the morning of day 6, the researchers were met with an impossible phenomenon. All 5 subjects, still isolated in their separate, soundproof chambers, began speaking in unison. The neural interface translated their thoughts into a single, synchronized voice that echoed through the control room. They repeated the same bone-chilling phrase over and over. "We opened the door. They're coming through." The words hung in the air, a declaration of a monumental and catastrophic mistake. The lead scientist, pale with fear, finally gave the order he had been dreading: terminate their life support immediately. The experiment was over. It had gone too far, but it was already too late. Before the technicians could even reach the life support controls, something even more horrifying happened. All 5 subjects, who had been lying motionless, suddenly sat bolt upright, in perfect synchrony. They all turned their heads in the same direction, not towards a random point in their dark chambers, but directly toward the one-way observation window. Toward the scientists who were watching them. They couldn't see them, yet they knew they were there. Then, one subject's mouth began to move, forming words without sound. He had no vocal cords, and the others had no ears to hear. But somehow, the message was transmitted directly into the minds of everyone in the observation room. The words were clear, cold, and filled with a terrible finality. You shouldn't have let us see. Now we can't close it. A wave of pure primal fear washed over the entire research team. When the containment team, clad in hazmat suits, finally mustered the courage to enter the chambers, they found all 5 volunteers had died. Their life support systems were still functioning perfectly. There was no medical cause of death, but the expressions on their faces would haunt the survivors for the rest of their lives. They were frozen in masks of pure, unadulterated terror, eyes stretched wide, mouths agape in a silent, unending scream, as if they were still staring at whatever had come through that open door. The facility was officially abandoned within a week. The public report was a lie, a cover-up citing catastrophic equipment failure as the cause of the tragedy. The truth was buried, locked away. The scientists who were there that day never spoke of Project Gateway again. Their lives were shattered. Some left the field of research entirely, disappearing into obscurity. Others suffered complete psychological breakdowns, committed to institutions, their minds forever scarred by what they had witnessed. One researcher's final, cryptic note was found years later, tucked away in the archived files. It read, "We assumed sensory deprivation would create silence. We were wrong. It only removed the noise that was protecting us from hearing what's always been there. Some doors should never be opened. Some things should never be perceived." To this day, the location of that research facility remains classified, a ghost on a map. But the whispers from those who were involved persist, a chilling warning passed down through the shadows of the scientific community. They say there are limits to human perception for a very good reason. Those barriers, our 5 senses, don't exist to limit us. They exist to protect us, not from what's out there in the vast, empty darkness of space, but from the horrifying knowledge that we are not, and have never been, alone, right here. Thanks for joining me down this dark rabbit hole. If you enjoy exploring the unsettling and the unknown, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe for more stories from the archives. Stay curious, but maybe stay safe.